Welcome back to Firestone Games, and in this video we'll be cracking open the new Indomitus box to bring you another how to quickly paint guide. This time I'll be showing you how to get your Blood Angel Assault Intercessor onto the game table in as little time as possible. After assembly, the first and probably most important step in painting is to prime, and that's so the later layers of paint can properly adhere to the miniature surface. As you can see, I've chosen a black primer for this task because this will act as the shading that we'll be creating in the next step. The primer you choose is up to you, as many different brands and methods of application are available, but using a black colour is important here. The main method I'll be using in this guide to apply our paint quickly is called dry brushing. Now, dry brushing requires taking a large and preferably rounded brush like this one here and dipping it into your paint. I'm using Vorbak here as the base colour because it has a deep red colour which will work good as a starting point for our red armour. Then with our paint, we can start to wipe off the brush onto a piece of paper or a tissue. This will remove any excess paint, but also it'll help to work the paint through the bristles. With the brush prepped, we can start to apply some downward, quick strokes to the surface of the model. By only applying a light amount of pressure here, you should find that the paint accumulates to the large flat surfaces, but not into the recessed areas. Because of the primer we used, these areas remain black and so appear as shadows, which helps to bring out the level of details without the need for washes. Next, we are using the same dry brushing technique as before, but this time we are using the brighter red of Mephiston Red instead. The process is very much the same as before, but as you apply this paint, you want to mainly focus the application around the upper parts of the model. These are the areas that you would expect the light to fall on, and so they will look brighter. And it's this effect that we can start to recreate with this step. Our final dry brushing step involves using some of the orange of Fire Dragon Bright. This time I'm using a much smaller brush and focusing the application to just the hard edges of the model's upper parts. These include areas like the helmet, the shoulder pad, and also the gorget. By just focusing on these areas, we help to boost the contrast between the lighter areas and the darker recesses, which will help to improve the overall level of detail. With the dry brushing complete, we can next apply an all-over layer of the contrast paint Blood Angels Red. You can just apply this straight from the part, but make sure that you don't allow the paint to pool too much in any single location. Once this dries, this translucent red layer will help to blend and unify the red hue of the three dry brush colours, as well helping to smooth out the transitions, creating a much better overall result. Now that we have our armour ready, we can tackle the remaining non-armour areas of the model. I'm using the black grey of Corvus Black here and have diluted it by mixing in a little water to my paint. This thin mixture can be reapplied to areas like the pouches, weapons, vents, pipes, and gaps between the armour. Essentially anything that we don't need to be red. By using a thinner paint mixture, you can also apply a second layer over the top of your first, should the base colour not have the desired coverage. To pick out the metal details, I'm using some of the metallic paint Leadbelcher. By using a thin brush for this step, I can carefully pick out the edges of the metal areas. By only applying paint to these parts, the result is the effect of black and steel, but also means we can apply it a lot more quickly. With this step completed, your miniature can be called done, but if you have a little extra time, there are a couple of extra steps you can take to help with those smaller details. Paint any purity seals and helmet lenses with some Morghast Bone. Use the same thinning technique as before and apply a couple of layers where necessary. This bone colour will serve as an excellent parchment colour. Using another contrast paint, this time Warp Lightning, apply a layer over the wax seal and the lenses in the helmet. This paint will give these areas a bright green colour as well as flowing into the recesses to create some shading. The resulting bright green will really stand out against the reds of the armour. With this step finished, give your miniature a basing scheme of your choice and hit everything with a coat of matte varnish, and you should be left with something that looks like this. And here we have the finished Blood Angel Assault Intercessor, which can be painted in less than 30 minutes. This time can easily be shaved down further if you were to paint several models simultaneously in a batch. Whilst this guide focused on just an intercessor, you could apply the same techniques used here to other Blood Angel units as well. If you enjoyed this guide to getting your miniatures painted and ready for gaming in as little time as possible, then please let us know in the comments below. And if you have any suggestions for future tutorials, then let us know those as well. You can find this kit and all of the paints used in this video on the Firestorm Games web store, which you can find a link to in the description below. And so we just want to finish off by saying a big thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you again on Firestorm Games.